Hello everyone! I just thought of giving my thoughts on the WIIM Amp, my impressions on it as a streaming amplifier, and how it is when partnered with a Cdplayer and a Pono preamp to play records on a turntable. First, I'd like to introduce myself. You can call me Jim. I'm based in Canada. I started being obsessed with audio equipment and how it can enhance my listening experience in 2001 when I worked abroad and became friends with some people who are into audio, or as some people would call them, audiophiles. From then on, I've been listening to their equipment, going to listening rooms and trying out different speakers, amplifiers, and CD players, and building my own hi-fi setup. Through this journey, I've owned and spent a lot of time with what audiophile community will call budget components. What I eventually was able to put together with my limited budget is a Rotel integrated amplifier, a Cambridge audio CD player, and Spendor speakers. One thing I like to mention is that I love my Spendor S5e speakers. This might be my end game. I will still try other speakers and maybe buy and own a few more, but I don't see the Spendors getting replaced on my main setup. So my first 3 videos on this channel is about unboxing and testing of the WIIM Amp. I purchased this WIIM Amp from Amazon during the recent Amazon Prime Day sale. My first video was box opening of the WIIM Amp and listening to it mostly on Apple Music, Spotify, and Bluetooth. And I will say right here, I love this WIIM Amp. Setting it up and starting to play from Apple Music and Spotify is so easy, and I didn't have any problems making it work, although I would say this is the first time really that I'm trying this music streaming business. I love the accessibility of all those songs that I love from these streaming platforms. On that first video, I played Chasing Cars by Snow Patrol. I also tried a few Eminem songs, one of them being my favorite, Lose Yourself. I played a bunch of old songs, a few alternative rock, and I would say the WIIM Amp is very good. Bass as expected is not plenty, but I would say that is more due to limitation of my speakers. This WIIM Amp might be small, but it easily filled up my listening room at its 60% capacity with a volume that I usually like for rock music. Second video was when I connected with my oppo Blu-ray player, and I would say this is really where I was blown away. I hope it's not a knock on this little box when I say I like it more as a partner to the CD player than when I'm streaming music. The voices are just much more clear and the separation of instruments are more articulate. I was comparing it to my trusted old Rotel amplifier, and only then have noticed how clinical the sound of my Rotel is. The sound I'm hearing from the WIIM oppo player is more detailed and engaging at the same time. I think it's because the voice is just more noticeably separate from the instruments. On that video, you saw or will see that I played songs from Live, Jimmy Eat World, Coldplay, Keen, and Emma Fujita. But the album that really blew me away with the sound I'm getting was the best audiophile recordings, where the voices of Eva Cassidy and Alison Krauss are so lifelike that I felt like they are singing right there on my listening room. Third video is when I opened the box of a new Project Pono preamp S2 that I also purchased from Amazon so I can play vinyl and partner the WIIM Amp to my Lin turntable. To be honest, my Lin turntable is secondhand and old and also needs upgrade, so I was not really expecting much. But I'm still very much impressed with the sound that I'm getting with the WIIM Amp and Project Pono preamp combo. I do plan to upgrade first the cartridge, then I'll decide later if I want to buy a new turntable. I played albums from Otis Redding, Jim Croce, Van Morrison, and Cat Stevens. I just have to mention I love this Cat Stevens album, T for the Tillerman. The WIIM Amp and Project Pono Box S2 combo made me fall in love with it more. One thing I would say is the volume's not as good as the Rotel amp, so I might play around with the gain settings of the preamp. My Rotel amp do have a phono stage. Here's a sample.
Tastes just like an attack. 100-yard stare of a kiss. Lord, I know I'll never
There's only one interconnect input on the WIIM amp, and I use it for the phono preamp. In case anyone's wondering, how about the CD player? The answer is I use the optical cable connection. Here's what it sounds.
I was 5 and he was 6. We rode on horses made of sticks. He wore black and I wore white. He would always win the fight. Bang, bang, he shot me down. Bang, bang, I hit the ground. Bang, bang, that awful sound. Bang, bang, my baby shot me down.
I'll also make a confession. I'm very new to all this streaming music business. I've always been a CD and vinyl enthusiast. I like to see and physically hold CDs, especially vinyls, and be able to browse through the album cover while I'm listening to music. It just gives me that extra feels and better understanding of what the album is about. I bought the WIIM Amp to sort of be a gateway to this modern way of listening called music streaming. So I make these videos for similar people like me, a longtime music fan who is trying to understand all this fanfare about streaming music. But I also want to help youngsters to appreciate good sound and give them idea that there is so much more that you can do to enhance your listening experience. So in conclusion, I love this little device, the WIIM Amp, and I can't wait to see what else I can do with it. I'm not trying to promote WIIM's products or its company. I'm just giving my honest opinion. I already mentioned my goal, that's all it is. Thanks for listening, and let's keep on listening to great music.